Here in Salem, they didn't teach us all our history. Some stories got lost along the way. Maybe if they had taught us everything that happened, my brother would have left that knife where he found it.
I will play. I won't quit. Morgus? What did you do? Let's play. Only one way to find out. I will play. I won't quit.
I will play.
Morgus!
I won't quit.
I will play. I won't quit.
Disclaimer. This video contains themes of historical witch trials and supernatural possession, which may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. The movie begins with a boy named Marcus being taken away by the police. His face is filled with sorrow, and his mother and sister, Billy, watch on, devastated by his departure. Billy then begins to narrate their story, explaining that her family has lived in Salem, a city in America, for many years. Salem, she explains, carries a dark history. It was infamous for its 17th century witch trials, during which many women, including innocent ones, were executed as witches. Billy describes her family. She lives with her mother, her two brothers, Marcus and their younger brother, and their lazy uncle. The story shifts to a flashback, showing Marcus and his younger brother riding their bikes home. Along the way, the younger brother hears a strange noise coming from the forest. Curious, he follows the sound and discovers an abandoned, dilapidated house deep in the woods. Inside, he finds an old knife and a diary. Marcus arrives shortly after and snatches the knife and diary from his brother, warning him to leave immediately. Marcus believes the house belonged to a lunatic who left these things behind. The brothers head home, but on their way, they encounter two girls who start mocking their sister, Billy. Marcus initially tries to ignore them, but when the girls' insults become more offensive, he loses his temper and fights back. Seeing Marcus defend their sister makes the younger brother happy, realizing how much Marcus loves her too. When they get home, the younger brother hears the strange noise again. Checking his bag, he's shocked to find the same knife he'd seen in the abandoned house. Confused, he wonders how it got there, since they'd left it behind. When their lazy uncle asks what's in his bag, the boy nervously lies, saying it's nothing. Meanwhile, Billy argues with her mother, insisting on going to a party with her friend. Her mother, however, refuses, saying Billy needs to stay home to look after her brothers while she's at work. Frustrated but determined, Billy continues to plead. Tension rises when Marcus and his younger brother arrive home, leading to another argument between Billy and Marcus. Their mother scolds Billy, warning her not to leave the house before leaving for work. As night falls, the younger brother hears the eerie noise again. Troubled, he retreats to his room and starts cleaning the rusty knife. The knife looks ancient, and engraved on it are the words, "I will play a game." The moment he touches the knife, he has a strange vision of the past. Images of corpses and bloodied women flash before his eyes. It's as though he's transported back to the 17th century, witnessing the horrific executions of women accused of being witches. Before he can fully comprehend the visions, someone knocks on his door, interrupting him. Despite this, the boy begins to feel an unsettling connection to the knife and the mysterious voice he keeps hearing. His behavior grows increasingly erratic, and he starts obeying the voice's commands. Marcus notices his brother's strange behavior and becomes concerned. In an effort to distract him, Marcus suggests watching a movie together. They sit down to watch, but the boy's odd behavior only worsens, making Marcus even more suspicious. Later, Billy's friend arrives to take her to the party, sparking another argument between Billy and Marcus. Their uncle sides with their mother, insisting Billy shouldn't leave the house. However, Billy becomes more adamant, especially since her friend is waiting. Unbeknownst to them, the strange voice controlling the younger brother belongs to a sinister spirit that now has complete dominance over him. The spirit's goal is to trap everyone in the house to play a twisted game. Following the knife's engraving, the boy declares that everyone must stay inside to participate in the game. Marcus, alarmed by his brother's behavior, tries to defuse the situation, telling him that he and Billy will only be gone for 2 hours. The boy, however, becomes enraged, his eyes filled with fury. He allows them to leave, but on one condition: they must play the game first. When their uncle tries to leave, the boy angrily forces him to sit and participate. Frightened by his sudden aggression, everyone agrees to stay and play. The boy lays down the rules of the game. Everyone must repeat after him. "I will play, and I will not quit." As they reluctantly echo his words, he pulls out the cursed knife. Alarmed, Marcus grabs the knife, sensing that something terrible is about to happen. Billy, torn between her desire to attend the party and her worry for her younger brother's strange behavior, decides to leave after Marcus assures her he will take care of everything. But soon after, Marcus finds himself in a chilling situation. His younger brother, still under the influence of a mysterious force, demands Marcus read the words engraved on the knife. Reluctantly, Marcus complies, and immediately, horrifying visions overwhelm him. Scenes of blood, corpses, and persecution from centuries ago flash before his eyes, causing him to faint. When Marcus regains consciousness, his younger brother appears normal, even helping him to bed. However, Marcus senses something is amiss. Later that night, while his brother sleeps, Marcus takes the knife and locks himself in the bathroom. There, in the dim light, he encounters the ghostly apparition of a boy with a cross carved into his forehead. Drawn into a trance, Marcus mirrors the mark on his own forehead using the cursed knife. The younger brother, sensing danger, pleads with Marcus to open the door. But when Marcus finally emerges, his demeanor has completely changed. He is now under the spirit's control. Alarmed, the younger brother informs their uncle, who joins him in confronting Marcus. But Marcus, now possessed, leads them outside. In a horrifying twist, he strings up a noose on a tree and challenges his uncle to a deadly game of hangman. Despite his uncle's attempts to reason with him, Marcus succumbs to the spirit's violent impulses, tragically taking his uncle's life. At the party. Meanwhile, Billy is at the party, confiding in her friend about her desire to leave Salem and escape its dark history. But when she witnesses her friend's betrayal, Billy, heartbroken, decides to return home. On the way, she encounters her younger brother, who frantically recounts the terrifying events involving Marcus and the spirit's possession. Initially skeptical, Billy becomes a believer when another terrified partygoer corroborates her brother's story. Determined to save Marcus, Billy and her younger brother recall the strange knife and diary they discovered in the ruins. Convinced that the diary might hold the key to breaking the spirit's hold, they rush back to the eerie site, unveiling the diary's secrets. In the ruins, the siblings begin to piece together Salem's grim history. They learn about Daniel, a boy from the 17th century, who, alongside his mother, was falsely accused of witchcraft. Daniel's mother endured horrific persecution, and he too suffered abuse from villagers. Desperate to escape, the mother and son fled to the forest, seeking refuge in the very ruins where the knife was found. However, their peace was short-lived. Villagers discovered their hideout and inflicted unspeakable cruelty upon Daniel, even carving a cross into his forehead before taking his life. Overwhelmed by these revelations, Billy realizes that the knife carries Daniel's tormented spirit, which now seeks vengeance by possessing those who touch it. The diary described how Daniel was eventually killed, and his grief-stricken mother turned to dark rituals, worshipping a demon to avenge her son. Using Daniel's bones, she crafted a cursed knife to resurrect him as a vengeful entity. They learned the rules of Daniel's deadly game. Players who lose are killed, while the last survivor is deemed the winner. Kat asked Daniel's mother's spirit if defeating Daniel in his own game could end the curse. The spirit laughed ominously before vanishing, leaving them with the daunting task of confronting Daniel and breaking the cycle of terror. Kat tells her younger brother and friend that they must play the game with Daniel in order to save their brother Marcus, who is trapped under Daniel's possession. Millie decides that they will play the torch game, which her younger brother is very skilled at. The game involves using a torch, and the one who holds the light can escape. After a while, when they get home, her younger brother tells Marcus that he wants to play the torch game, and Marcus agrees. When the game begins, the younger brother starts searching for Marcus with his torch. He turns off all the lights in the house. Suddenly, he hears footsteps. When he checks, it's Marcus. As soon as he turns on the light, Marcus's feet begin to burn because, in the past, the children had tried to burn Daniel alive. This causes Marcus immense pain, and his younger brother cannot bear to see him suffering, so he quickly puts the torch down. Taking advantage of the situation, Daniel's soul inside Marcus escapes. The three of them, Millie, her brother, and their friend, begin searching for Marcus. They eventually see blood dripping from the roof, and to their shock, it's Marcus's blood. They realize he's sitting on top. Together, they begin throwing torches at him, causing Marcus to burn again. However, Millie, heartbroken to see her brother in pain, removes the torch. After a while, Marcus falls injured from the roof. Millie checks on him, but Marcus puts the torch on her friend, causing her to burn. Millie then attacks Marcus with a poisonous knife, forcing him to release her friend. After this, Millie, her brother, and their friend run to hide. Millie's brother tells them that the knife is made from Daniel's bones, and it might be the key to ending the curse. Soon after, Marcus arrives and, using his strength, lifts Millie's younger brother into the air. Enraged, Millie grabs the knife and begins to write on it. In that moment, Daniel's soul leaves Marcus and enters Millie. As she is consumed by Daniel's soul, she enters the world of spirits, like where she confronts Daniel. She tries to defeat him, but is suddenly pulled back to the real world. Millie tells everyone that she almost defeated Daniel's soul, but when she looks at her hands, she realizes they are stained with Daniel's blood. The blood stains start spreading throughout the house. The group panics and attempts to escape, but Daniel locks Marcus and his brother in a closet. Inside the closet, Marcus feels guilty about all the people he killed while under possession. His younger brother comforts him, telling him it wasn't his fault as he didn't act intentionally. Outside, Daniel attacks Millie, but she fights back. She calls for Marcus's help. After a struggle, Marcus breaks free from the closet and confronts Daniel, but Daniel is so powerful that he throws Marcus aside. Millie's younger brother, filled with anger, challenges Daniel to play a game. As Daniel approaches, Millie's younger brother stabs him with a sharp knife. Daniel collapses, burning and turning to ash, eventually vanishing into black smoke. The group rejoices, believing they have killed Daniel. The next day, Marcus surrenders to the police, ashamed of the lives he took while under possession. In the aftermath, we return to the ruins where a fire suddenly erupts. The same sharp knife and diary are seen, suggesting that Daniel's game of death is not over yet. When someone takes the knife and diary, the cycle of death will begin again. The story ends on this chilling note.